The concept of Uebermensch is not Friedrich Nietzsche's idea, inasmuch as lots of thinkers of the late Hellenistic period wrote about it. However, it was Nietzsche who put those definitions to this theory, which are used by the majority of the academic philosophers nowadays. In his work Ecce Homo, Nietzsche definitely argued against the evolutionary approach. Like a bear never can become an eagle, an ordinary human being never can become an Uebermensch. In other words, the only way to be an Uebermensch is to be born as an Uebermensch, since it is an absolute givenness and not something that can be achieved. Here from Nietzsche's disfavor to Darwinism emanates. It is necessary to specify that by the 19th century Darwinism was not as much a science as a progressivism movement. Nietzsche's main accusation was that there wasn't any struggle for existence. He claimed that if you tried to transfer your level of existence into the future, it wasn't the struggle for existence itself. It was the struggle for temporal expansion or the tendency to overpass the countermeasures. Darwinism defined the domestication of a wild animal as some benefit, to what the book The Will to Power answered as following. Up till now, it wasn't possible to prove anything except the absolutely superficial influence of domestication, and mostly it becomes degradation. Everything that escaped human hands eventually and almost immediately returned to its natural condition. Nietzsche believed that a yesterday warrior, who was sheltered by civilization which made him an office worker, was a degraded type. This thought has conservative origins. It declines the ideas of equality and social justice. It persists in the concept that only the strongest and the most suited ones should operate the society. However, we shouldn't forget one important detail. Nietzsche himself was rather weak and unpretentious. It is known that he had very deep emotional upheaval when he saw the beating of the horse in the street. Having felt his meanness and the unattainability of the upper class's morals, he was devoid of the sense of transcendental, which, as is commonly known, has determined aristocrats of all times to battle, punish, and create. Man of quality respects himself for being powerful, as well as for holding sway over himself, who is able to make a great speech and to keep silence, who can readily show severity to himself, and who worship everything strict and severe.